Good evening. Welcome to Haunted Maple 112. It has been a while since I read from the story. We have Amy, who had purchased a lovely one-story home. We have her neighbor Vera, who's the only one who is actually accepting her. We have spirits that had gone to a factory in the forest, and also one that has taken an interest in her. So now we will continue. So much water. It's not surprising nothing moved. Amy moved her head, trying to keep the figure in sight. There's two. Another person had joined the first. They're moving, but don't seem to be going anywhere. At this point, Amy placed her key in the ignition, turned it, and put her gear in reverse. Driving away, she took one last glance. In the rearview mirror, the two figures were standing by the map, staring at her. That's damn spooky, she thought. The rain had picked up as she arrived home. Amy locked the car door and made a dash for the porch. She stood for a moment before going inside. First order of business was to shower and change. She still felt that chill from the warehouse. Steam engulfed the bathroom in minutes. Her reflection was clouded in the mirror. The heat felt amazing as the chill left her. "Down the drain with you," she proclaimed loudly. This seemed to make her feel all the more content. A TV dinner popped in the microwave, took 5 minutes. Amy watched the plate turn clockwise and listened to the gravy bubble. The beef dinner hit the spot. Her hunger pang went away. She felt a million times better. In her pajamas, Amy snuggled in with popcorn and a movie. It wasn't long before she was asleep. Her dream began with sunshine by a glistening lake. Then it turned. Amy was back in the warehouse. She was watching the employees work. She spotted him, the young man in the photo. He smiled in her direction, which confused her. No one was around her. As she left the room, he glanced directly at her with a smile that left her feeling unsettled. Against better judgment, she followed him. He never looked back once. Amy could feel that smile, that evil smile. They walked a half hour when a large Edwardian house came into view. As they passed the sign, she stopped a moment to read it. The Parker Lee House, it read. She was now inside. There were a number of other people there. None of them resembled the other. On the wall was a list of rules. "This is a poorhouse," she whispered. Amy felt a deep sadness come over her. These people. She didn't continue her sentence. Her heart went out to them. At the top of the stairs he stood, still with that vile smile. Amy was afraid, but she followed him anyways. He went into a small room and closed the door. He turned directly to her. But how had she gotten into the room? "Katrina, I knew you would come." His smile widened. "I'm not Katrina," she simply said. In an instant, she woke. Her eyes in a panic searched the room from the sofa. It was a dream. She exhaled with relief. Amy thought nothing of it. She supposed seeing that file must have caused the dream. Really more a nightmare. In the morning, she tried the phone number. That was in the file. The number had been disconnected. She deleted it from her phone. The subject was closed as far as she was concerned. Late afternoon, Vera knocked on her door. "Amy, dear, have you been out back?" "No, Vera, why?" she asked. "Follow me." Vera stepped outside, making her way to her backyard. "Through my gate." "But I thought you said we were never to do that." "You need to see why," Vera told her. Just steps away towards Amy's gate. "You see?" Vera pointed at the cedar gate. Amy couldn't move. What she seen made her sick to her stomach. Carved into her gate, 5 deep scratches. Amy placed her hand on them. Yes, they were real. Who would do this? She turned to Vera in disbelief. "Back inside, child. We've been out here too long." Standing in her neighbor's yard, she took note of the new lock and crucifix on the gate. "Why?" is the only words that came out of her mouth. "Just in case it isn't bears." "But how did you see it?" She wanted an answer. "I had a feeling. I always listen to my feelings. You should too." This entire situation was offsetting. Who was this woman she lived beside? Should she thank her or what? Be careful, whether you're awake or asleep. How did she know without coming out and saying it? Amy was sure somehow Vera knew about her dream. "I will," Amy promised. She now stood at her back door, staring at the gate. For only a moment she imagined it moving. She wasted no time in searching out the old crucifix that had belonged to her parents. Nail and hammer in hand, she confidently walked to the gate and affixed the cross to the cedar. "May you keep my home and family safe. I call on my guardian angel." Quickly, Amy made her way back inside. Her yard felt 10 degrees colder than Vera's had. There was nothing comfortable about the space. The warmth she experienced in the beginning was gone. They rose as before from beneath the frozen ground, off to work as usual. Gathering inside the abandoned factory, they were well aware of a change. Someone among them had crossed the line. Carrie had joined them, even though he was not welcome. No hands were held together this time. There was poison among them. They went directly to work on machines that hadn't operated in a century. Amy felt them. She knew they were at the factory. Amy sensed their upset. Could she take the chance to travel, not knowing who was in the woods, waiting to attack? Carrie couldn't rest. He felt the beat of her heart. He heard it in his ears, warm blood flowing through her body. She must be a part of his life once again. Amy's sleep was restless. She tossed and turned, his face foremost in her dream, his eyes so green locked on hers. They tried to take her closer to him. Amy forced herself to wake, uttering a faint scream. She had never wakened like this in her life. Sleep was not an option. Amy paced her room, only to stop at her window. She peered out at the yard, bathed in moonlight. He was there on the path, standing at her gate. Those green eyes beckoned to her. She resisted, though it was difficult. What did he want from her? Her lack of sleep became a problem. She had circles growing under her eyes. With another dusk approaching, Amy was exhausted. She heard a faint voice in her front yard. She opened her curtain slightly. It was her neighbor from across the street. "He's coming for you," she sang, repeatedly rocking side to side. This went on for a couple of minutes. Then, without warning, she ran at her. She ran at her window. "He's coming for you, Amy. He wants you. You can't hide." The woman slapped the glass, then ran back to her house. "For you," she shouted before going inside. Amy, in that second, wished she had never moved. She was freaked out now. How would she ever sleep? This was a nightmare. Who was coming for her, and why? Amy double-checked her windows and doors, locking screen and main wooden door. In the silence of her living room, the phone rang, sending her straight off the sofa. "Hello?" she said timidly. "Amy, dear, are you all right?" It was Vera. "Did Judy frighten you?" "Yes." She wasn't going to lie. "What's wrong with her?" "Honey, I've never known her to do anything like that before." Amy began to cry. "Vera, I can't take this anymore. I never should have moved here." "Why don't you come to my house tonight?" Vera suggested. "I don't want anything going to your place," Amy told her. "Won't anything come near my house? I have St. Michael to protect my property. Grab a few things and I'll meet you at my door." Amy took her small suitcase out of her closet, packed some clothes and toiletries. Vera was good to her word, standing at her door, sage in hand. From head to toe, the elderly neighbor made sure not to miss an inch, including the suitcase. "Every opening to my home has holy water. Every corner of my property has a meadow." "Vera, what is going on?" Amy's eyes pleaded for an answer. "Sweetie, I wish I knew." "Then why all this protection for your home?" She searched Vera's eyes for a reason. All she seen was an elderly woman. "The agent told me nothing about this. I could sue her over it." The panic in her voice was obvious. The voice outside came again. The woman was standing on the sidewalk. "He knows where you are, Amy. Vera can't hide you forever. He's watching, and there's nothing you can do." Vera opened her door. "Judy, go home. Read your Psalms. Speak to St. Michael." And she closed the door. It wasn't ignored that Judy had not come closer to the house. Vera spoke up. "He sent her to warn you. She can't step foot on my property right now. Not while she speaks for him." "Who is him?" Amy demanded. "I think we'll leave it right there, leave you hanging. To find out who it is." Thank you for stopping by. I realize, as I said, it's been a hot minute since I continued the story. So sorry for that, but things happen and you get busy. But thank you for dropping by. To anyone just dropping in to see what goes on here, please check out my other videos. You might find something you like. If you do, please give it a thumbs up, drop a comment, and share it out if you think someone else would be interested. While you're here, consider becoming a subscriber, and if you do, remember to hit the notification bell. And as always, sleep tight.